I was in my prime. I didn't even have a dime, but I was still happy. I was still happy. My childhood's gone, and here I stand.
In this toxic world we live in, with social media and constant negativity, it's important to stay happy in this series. I want to grow with all you. I want to share the moments of pure laughter, and as hard as it can be avoiding negative narratives, because they can make great content, sometimes I'd rather just bring a smile and share a good story, even if the story might have been negative when it first happened. I could share the life lessons that I learned from each scenario, which have become positive later on by teaching me, through the years. In today's episode, I discuss who I am, where I grew up, and a little bit about the Ideacatcher himself. And then I'll discuss the struggle I had discovering happiness and understanding happiness. So, just straight off the bat, my name's Sebastian. I grew up in a little town called Flagstaff in Arizona. It's northern Arizona, so it's up north, and it's a really pleasant place. It was a great place to grow up. It snowed a lot during the winters, and there was one year it snowed like, I think the highest I've ever seen it there was maybe 8 feet, in total for one day. But anyways, going ahead of that, I've been making videos since 2011, and I've learned over the years that I love being creative, and it was just really hard for me to figure out what I want to do in life, even though I knew kind of what I want to do. I'm a creator, and that's kind of a term that came later on. And, back in the early, I would say, 2010s, creator, the word that kind of came about, it wasn't really a thing, Like people would be, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to be a, video maker, I want to be a gamer. I want to be a gamer that streams and all that kind of jazz. But I had a lot of different interests, growing up. It was really hard for me to kind of figure out what I want to do. So here I am, just kind of doing it all. Kind of sounds silly, but, I get bored of things, and sometimes I try other things. I do music as well. I was in a band all through high school, almost, and it was a duo band with my good friend, and we made music since I think we started around 2013, 2014, and then all the way up until 2021. And now we kind of stopped, but we had multiple different band names throughout the whole process, and it kind of just originated like that. Our last band name that kind of became more official name was Penny Fusion, and we made a lot of songs. And then after that ended, I ended up doing my own thing, and then making, my own music under my name Baby Polaris, which I actually do have a new EP dropping. Basically a single with 2 tracks. It's not necessarily an EP, but I get just some live sessions that I've edited, and they're all set, and those will be dropping soon. I'll have a link in the description. Actually, I don't think there will be a link because it hasn't even dropped yet, but maybe later on I'll add it in when it's up. But I'll put a link for you to follow me on Spotify or whatever you'd like. I just do it for fun. I don't do it for anything else. But now you kind of get an idea. I've been making videos as well since 2011, and I've been kind of just messing around on YouTube with my friends and family throughout the years, and then it kind of became something a little bit more special, a little bit something I want to do to tell stories. Now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I've been trying to help a lot of people around my area. Maybe I could make some fun videos for people, and I try to do things for free because I have another job that where I get my income for, so I'm not really doing this for money. I'm just doing this for fun, basically. And that's where it comes down to with happiness, is that it's important to smile, it's important to be happy, and it's important to realize that life can be kind of scary. And don't be kind of scared of the laughs in the background, because I'm filming this at night. There's cats all around me, and they're wild cats. So if you hear some meows or you hear some bangs, there's only so much I can do. They're really great cats. We take care of them, and we give them food, we give them water, and they're really nice. They're not stray cats. Well, they're kind of stray cats. They're outdoor cats. Some of them are basically our cats. Others are not really our cats, but we still feed them. But anyways, back to the story. Well, where did I get the name Ideacatcher? Well, this YouTube channel went through a lot of changes, and I didn't really know what to call my YouTube channel because I did so much things that it didn't really fit in one category. It was only one thing I could think of, and I was thinking, well, I have a lot of ideas, and I like catching them and making something out of them. So that's why I call myself the Ideacatcher. But basically, I just love being a creative person. I love doing different things. I do music, I do videos, and on top of that, I do poetry, I write stuff. I actually wrote a book, but I decided not to release it because it needs a lot of work. I'm not that very good at writing big old books. I learned that. But I could write some good poems. I think I have decent skills with that. I don't know. It's up to perception, there's definitely things I got to get better at. But, I've written songs. I've written lots of songs, I guess. More than the average person, I bet. But I do it for fun. And it's always been for fun. You get lost in this whole ideal. Ooh, I want to make it. I want to become successful with these songs. But it's more so just for happiness and things to keep you busy, because time flies. Time goes by so fast. I go on my YouTube channel and I see my videos on there from like 5 years ago, and even further back, all the way back to like 10 years ago now, and it makes me feel old. It really does. But I gotta realize that time flies, and we're on this planet for so long. We gotta make the best of it and have fun, and always have fun. Even when things are tough and things are a struggle. But in my life, I didn't used to always be this person that I am now. I used to always be afraid of the world. I used to always not know what to do because I was lost. I just couldn't figure out what would be the best option for me. So I decided, maybe I should just focus on one thing. Should I focus on one thing? Should I give some things up? Well, it's not really about giving things up, because I haven't really put 110% into one thing. Maybe I have in the past with videos. I was really cranking them out as a kid, but there's other things I look back and I'm like, oh man, I put energy, I put fun times to video, but it could have been way better, But that's just self-critique. I've always been a self-critiquer and a perfectionist, with some things, not all things. But I always try to look back and find the reasons to be happy. And looking back and seeing and feeling and experiencing that through my videos and my music, through all our music. We made Penny Fusion with my good old buddy Jonas. All those times, all those memories. Sorry about the cat. He just jumped up on the table. But literally, it's just all about having fun and not losing that, because that's what happens to most people when they become successful. Is that they're just doing it to pay their bills. And I don't want to ever become that person, I don't think it ever will happen, but you never know. Life is definitely filled with many obstacles and filled with many surprises too. But I always try to strive for things that are fun, and that's what I do. I tried some things. I tried drawing. I sucked at it, and maybe I didn't suck. I just never put my energy into it. Maybe I have that gift. I have grandparents that were really good at painting, so maybe it's in my genes. But I just decided to go with music and videos, and that was definitely my journey, and that's what I do now, and that's kind of partly what I do with the job that I'm in right now. sort of. I'm not going to go into that, but it's really fun. I like what I do. But on the side, I do creative stuff, and that's what it's all about, you know? There's a lot of weird sounds outside, and I hear it so much more clearly with the headphones on. Like, I can hear screams, I hear cats far away, I hear a party, like, down the street. Oh my gosh, you guys hear that? I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. Maybe they're having their own, I don't know, like their own little rodeo or something. Because we're kind of out in the rural area, it would make sense. But I'm also hearing creaking behind me. It's kind of freaking me out because I'm out here and it's in the dark outside. I decided to do outside because I feel less restricted in the outside setting. But yeah, this is my podcast. And it might not be the greatest. You might have already tuned out, but I just want to talk about how to stay happy and my struggle with happiness throughout, all these years. But getting into it, basically, I never used to be that person that always strived to be happy. I never used to look back at all the things that brought me happiness. Now looking back, I see that I have a lot of accomplishments in my life, and I'm not just trying to talk good about myself here. I'm just saying, like, as a healthy measure, it's always good to talk good about yourself. It's not a bad thing. Talking good about yourself all the time, it gets old, and I'm not that kind of person. But in fact, I actually sometimes downplay who I am, and sometimes to say I'm not as good. I mean, I don't know. I try to not be the self. How do I say this? I try not to be a self-centered person because that can get annoying too. But this is a podcast, and I'm kind of talking about myself. And it's really hard to talk about yourself, and I never realized it until I dived into it right now. Because I don't really talk about myself as much as I could. But anyways, yeah, growing up, I actually went through a lot at a young age. I was really overweight, and I struggled with being bullied through school because of it. And that was when I was really young, like 10 years old to 11. And then when I turned... Well, I take that back. I got really overweight around 9 years old. And it's just because I was binge eating and I didn't know how to find an outlet to get out my feelings that were built up. And I had, the people at school, the schools I went to were kind of rough. I don't know. Maybe that's just everyone's experience. Sorry, I'm getting a little spooked out here. Maybe that's just everyone's experience, but the school was kind of rough for me throughout my whole life, except for college. When I got to college, everything just kind of worked itself together, and that's just because I was studying what I love, and that's making movies. I went to ASU to be a filmmaker. I went to their film school. It was a really good experience. And there was also some bad experiences in that too, but overall it was a good experience, and I loved all of it, even if I even loved the bad parts. It was definitely a great experience. But anyways, going back, I was really overweight as a young kid, and I needed to get that figured out because I ate really unhealthy. There's just really, really bad habits. I binge ate when I was sad, and I didn't have any self-control. I think that was it. So, and even today, I struggle with weight problems too, but it's not as bad because I know my limits now, and I know that I gotta work on myself, and sometimes I'll get really healthy, other times I fucking eat like shit, and I really gotta, work on that, and still, to this day, I still gotta work on it. But when I was a kid, it was a whole other level, and especially since I was so short, it was a problem. was not good. So anyways, I got that all figured out. I actually lost like 50, 60 pounds when I was, how old was I? I was like 12 years old, and I went to YMCA every day after school. I'd just walk there from my elementary school. I was in 6th grade, I think. And then I lost all that weight, and then throughout high school, I kind of gained it back slowly. But it was like a plateau almost. It just kind of stayed around, a good amount of solid weight. And then after that, it was good. But it wasn't just the weight problem that I would get bullied for. For some reason, I was always the target. Some reason, I always had people I don't know if they felt threatened by me or if I was a big guy. I have like wide shoulders. I'm a big dude, I was 5'9" throughout high school, and now I'm 5'10", kind of, 5'10" ish. But yeah, there was a lot of things that I looked back on throughout my whole life and was sad about, and I just have to realize, there were still moments in those bad times that were good, and it's important to let go of the bad and learn from it, because yeah, everyone has those shitty moments in their life, but you gotta just learn from it and realize it's kind of, even though it was shitty, it's beautiful, because we're a beautiful species to be able to experience life and to live life and learn from it. I'm really excited for the future. I'm actually getting married this upcoming year to my best friend, Harley. She's amazing. She has taught me a lot, and I've taught her a lot. And we're a good couple. We love each other, and we've been through a lot together. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about, more about us together and stuff. But that could wait for the future. I like to keep that kind of private. It's on the internet. That stuff can be private, but I just want to talk about my story, and that is, all that pain, all that pain that I went through throughout elementary school, and all that pain I went through in not college, but high school, and all that. That's what kind of got me into music, because it was like, oh, this is a way for me to vent. It's a way for me to write lyrics and get all those emotions out. So that's what drove me into music, I feel. That was the biggest thing. And then videos was just a good way to make funny skits with friends, and it was just cool putting on YouTube and then telling people at school, like, hey, like, look, I made this, like, this was fun, and then people would laugh at it, and I liked making people laugh. That was the best, greatest thing ever. If I'm shivering, that's because it's really fucking cold out here and I didn't put a jacket on, and I'm wearing shorts, so I'm like freezing, literally freezing, and hearing stuff all around me. It's pretty amazing. This microphone I'm using, it's capturing everything. But yeah, I don't want this video to go too long, so I'll cut this short. But I could talk later, about more stuff later on. But anyways, make the story a little bit shorter. I overcame most of my problems socializing, and I didn't really actually dive deep into why I had problems socializing. But to sum it up, I had a language processing delay growing up, and I didn't really understand. It's hard to explain, but it took me longer to understand what people said, if that makes sense. It took my brain a lot longer, and that was due to my lead poisoning as a kid. When I was in the womb, my parents were living in an old house that had lead, and the lead was shedding in the air, and I was growing in the womb, and that affected me. It, could have definitely killed me. My mom would have been fine, but it could have definitely killed me. The doctor said I would never walk or talk when they first found out about that, and that was clearly not the case at all. It was not true. I'm definitely walking, I'm definitely talking, but it made life a lot harder. It was really hard for me, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why maybe I was seen as a target. I don't know. I was always a nice kid, but maybe I was also kind of a jerk sometimes. There's things we as human beings we all have to learn. Some things we think are funny or not, and other things are actually funny, but some people don't find them funny and they pick on you for it, or vice versa. Or I just said that, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, I overcame that as well, and that made school really hard when I was really young. But when I hit about I don't know, 14, 15, that's when I started like overcoming that mostly. And then college, that's when I feel like I fully bloomed, like fully understood like who I was, kind of. And I say kind of because there's still things I'm learning about myself. Still things I got to figure out in my life, like what I want to do completely with my career, as a person. So I just thought, maybe I start doing podcasts. Maybe this would be something good for me, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a stupid idea. But I hate being in front of the camera. And that goes along with my problems with me viewing myself as... I don't know. There's definitely some issues I still have. I think might be body dysmorphia. I've never gotten checked out. I never looked into it. Self trying to figure out what's wrong with me. It's like myself trying to figure out the problems I have. That makes sense. I can't really put it into words, but it's definitely something I got to work on. And I don't like being in front of the camera, even though I've been in front of the camera a lot throughout my whole life. But as I get older, it's a little bit hard. It's hard being in front of the camera and talking. It's just weird. It's awkward for me. I'd rather just talk in a microphone like this and be comfortable and open and more natural. Because when I'm not behind the camera, I feel like I could open up more, and be my true self. And I don't know if there's any fans that have been watching me for a long time on here. My channel kind of died, but because I didn't really put out the same videos that I used to in the back in the day. But if there's anyone that still watches my channel, that's been watching me still, but just been kind of orbiting, not really saying anything, you could probably notice my channel went through a lot of changes. I went from really funny, stupid skits to a little bit more serious stuff, like life stuff and dogs. And I love making shorts now because I just love sharing our beautiful life we have, and that's just what my life is about. I want to strive to bring that light to everyone. I want to share my life with you guys, and I want to make you guys smile, and I want to make you guys laugh if I can. But I'm not really the funniest guy. I'm really not. I'm just some ordinary dude, and maybe I'm funny, but I'm like, my humor is, I cannot figure out what kind of humor I have. I really don't know. Is it absurd? Is it interesting? Is it weird? Whatever it is, it's definitely different, which is probably a good thing. But I always strive to have fun, and that's what this podcast is about. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys learned a little bit about me. I'll probably go more into detail about my college years and my high school years, but this is just the first episode, and it's about happiness. And that's just what this podcast is about, is being happy. Well, that's the final output of what we're supposed to learn here, is take happiness from the things that we've been through, even though they might be negative. You want to turn that negative to a positive. And if you guys are here and you've made it to the end, I appreciate it. Maybe subscribe if you enjoyed it. There should be another one out at some point. I don't really have a schedule yet made for this. This was just something I thought about, like out of thin air. I was just like, maybe I should do a podcast. Maybe I should, because I wanted to do this in front of the camera. I really did. But then I realized it probably wouldn't feel natural, and I would probably try to play a character, because I love playing characters, and that's what I did in the past. Is I would play characters for series on my YouTube channel to make like fake videos. Some of them are actually legit though. Some of them are actually things that I would take that actually happened, and then I would just make it into a video and say that it was like part of a series, and I'll get more into that later. But anyways, for the most part, I played a character. Some of them I was being real, where I talked about my life updates. That was all real. The life updates were real, but anything else that was not before, like when I was younger, making funny videos. Like that was just skits, because I was really inspired by the YouTuber McJuggernuggets, and I just thought his way of vlogging was really cool, because you didn't have to be the person you are. You could just play a character and have fun doing it. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And always remember to be happy and smile. Goodbye.
I've learned so much, but I've lost the touch. Oh, I've lost the touch.